Shalom, Yasharallah. This your brother Dawadah, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Kakudash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of great millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So, actually, before I get into this here lesson, make sure you have all my channels, subscribe to Dawadah Reloaded, Dawadah Reloaded 2, and Dawadah. All right, because actually I just got a strike on the channel I've been uploading on, Dawadah Reloaded. So, that one's going to be down for a week. But just make sure you have the other channels, subscribe to just in case things like this happen. All right. So getting into this here lesson, which was inspired by a dream, I want to go ahead and put this here up for, edification's sake. All right. Because in the vision or in the dream, it gave me a insight to how, things could be played out. All right. So, this is dealing with, when things get bad out here. All right. You may be on the move. All right. You may be, not knowing where your next meal is going to come from and where certain things are going to come from. But, the Lord has already shown us multiple different times, multiple different ways that the Lord can provide for us in unconventional ways. All right. So, like, let's say when it comes to eating and things like that. All right. You may be looking at your situation that you're in at the point in time to where, hey, you may not be, let's say, at home. You may not have a home. You may not have food, may not be able to get to some food, where it's like, oh, I can just, like right now, how you like, well, I got food at home, let's say you at work and it's like, well, I know I got food at home. If I'm at work and I can't, I didn't bring lunch, I forgot my lunch or something like that. I don't have my wallet on me to go get no lunch. I know that when I get home, I got food there. I can just, either cook when I get home or there's already food there or anything else like that. You may not be in a situation like that where you might just be on the move at all points of times where it's like, you know what, I got to just keep moving. Let's just say, you out in the woods or something like that. You're not knowing where your next meal is going to come from. All right. Hey, the Lord has already shown us, like I said, in multiple different times, multiple different occasions, quote unquote, unconventional ways of providing for us, just as another quick testimony, when the pandemic started, dealing with that. And, I had to still work and everything else like that, which, hey, I'm thankful that I was, how do I put it? During the pandemic, I wasn't, I didn't miss a paycheck, put it that way. The Lord, I was still able to work the whole time. I never missed out on a paycheck. But what I did miss out on was, time going into the grocery store. And you would think that that's a so-called, oh, that's kind of messed up. I can't make it to the grocery store because I have to work. Well, hey, in an unconventional way, the Lord provided me with all my, necessities and groceries, basically through these Edomites, as I was still going to work and at work and everything else like that, they were coming outside and asking, how I was doing and everything else like that and sending me home with food and all kind of things, but, it's an unconventional way. Hey, I didn't have to go to the grocery store. I didn't have to fight through the lines and everything else like that. But then at the end of the day, I was still coming home as if I went to the grocery store. All right. So just keep those things in mind that the Lord can feed us in unconventional ways. All right. So I want to read this in Matthew chapter 24. I'm starting at verse 21. It says, "For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days shall be shortened, there shall be no flesh saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened." All right. And so as we're coming up upon these times, all right, you may think things is kind of bad now. Things is kind of, getting hard right now, but things are going to get way worse than this right now. All right. Things are going to get way to a point to where, it's going to be like, how are we going to make it? Like the scriptures say, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days. All right. But, things are going to get so bad out here to the point to where, it's not going to seem like there's no quote unquote hope in sight. But at that point in time, we have to keep our eye on Yahweh while Yahweh Shah, all right, for our deliverance. All right. We have to have faith in the Lord. All right. Because, hey, this is going to be our how you say, our trial of faith. All right. You have to believe that the Lord is going to deliver you through all these things. Again, no matter what it looks like the scenario is going to be, you have to believe that the Lord is going to deliver us. All right. And he's going to deliver us through all things. All right. Let me go and grab this other precept real quick. Jeremiah chapter 30 and 5. It says, "For thus saith Yahweh, we have heard a voice of trembling and of fear and not of peace." All right. Because again, like I said, we're getting into times to where, it's going to be real bad out there. This isn't the, what we're going through right now isn't, full blown Jacob's trouble. All right, this isn't the situation that the scriptures speak about. There's days are getting there, but these aren't those times. Yeah, people are, there's mass shootings and people are getting shot here and there. There's judgments going forth. Food costs is going up and everything else like that. But hey, man, it's gonna get 1,000 times worse than that, man. All right, we're just at a point in time where it's costing you more money to go get some groceries and costing you more money to get gas. Wait till you get to the point to where you can't afford gas or there is no gas. All right, there is no quote unquote food in the grocery stores for you to get, or there's an angry mob down at the grocery store. All right, or where you get to the point to where you don't want to come across people. All right. Matter of fact, I'll grab that next. It says, let me finish this. Verse 6, ask ye now, see whether doth a man travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces turn to paleness. All right. So, hey, we're gonna be in a point in time where, how do I say, there's gonna be mass quote unquote fear that's upon the faces of these people out here, man. All right. People aren't gonna be so happy to see other people out here, man. All right. So any and everybody that you come across could be a potential danger. All right. Verse 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. All right. So, going into these things, that we're about to be entering into, the Lord said he's going to protect and provide for his elect. So that's what we have to keep our mind on. All right. Let me grab this and we'll get into the dream. Let me just start here because this also goes into the same, somewhat of the same setting. All right, 2 Esdras 15 and 14, it says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hand. All right, for there shall be, matter of fact, let me read this. Because when we were, let me just read this and I'll jump down. 2 Esdras 16 and 18, it says, or 17, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days. All right, again, because it's the towns that we coming into is going to be, because like right now, people are still saying, oh, well, I can just go get another job or I can get a little bit of extra money. The mindset of the people right now isn't the fact that like, man, how we going to make it, bro? How we going to get up out of here? How we going to do this? How we going to do that? All right, the number one thing on the back of their mind is not survival right now. Verse 17, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days, the beginning of sorrows and great mourning, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine and plagues and tribulation and anguish are sent for scourges and amendment. All right. And I'm going to jump down. Matter of fact, I'm going to just keep reading. All right, it says, but for all these things they should not turn from their wickedness, nor always be mindful of the scourges. Behold, victory shall be so good cheap upon the earth that they shall think themselves in a good case. And even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. And we're pretty much in that time right now where, people, especially with the, how during the pandemic, people were getting these stimulus checks and things like that. All right, then now all of a sudden, things are starting to dry up economically. All right, so now all of a sudden you have these people that are, starting to feel the financial burden. All right. Verse 22, for many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. All right. So, there's going to be people that perish because of famine. All right. Then you're going to have another ones that escape the hunger. All right. They might not have starved to death, but people wind up putting them to death, by way of the sword, wind up just coming across them. And like I said, it's going to be a scary time to where you're not going to want to have to come across people. All right, so let's go back to 2 Esdras 15. It says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh. One people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. All right, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, for because of their pride the city shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. Now, this is setting like a lot of the settings that was going on in the dream that I had. All right. So basically in the dream, this dream started out where it was like, I don't quite know exactly what was going on, but I knew something was going on to where you didn't want to be around people, right? And I was, it was me, and there was this woman that was with me, but this woman, um, like, I was addressing her as if it was my mother or something like that. But this woman was like way older than my mother. Like she was like old enough to be like my grandmother, or if not older than that. But nevertheless, I was just addressing this woman as my mother. I don't know who she was, just some woman, right? But and we happened to be somewhere in like somewhat like in a wooded area. But there was like a house that we was at or something like that. We was coming out of this house, and there was like this golf cart or something like a golf cart. And we happened to get into this thing like right at the last little moment, and happened to get this thing kind of started up. We had to close the doors and everything else like that because there was like, a bunch of people that was coming. And they was trying to get us and whatever, just not to say to get us, but, you see anybody around, people was like, yo, we got to go grab them because maybe they have resources, right? This was one of those scenarios. As we got into this little, we'll just call it a golf cart, all right, for lack of better terms or whatever it was. We got into this thing and, again, we in this wooded area. We start taking off. We, just barely get away from this mob of people. So like how I was saying here, these people are not going to really want to be around other people. It says for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, one people shall stand up to fight against another and swords in their hands. All right. Now, at this particular time, I didn't quite, recognize or realize or see anybody necessarily. It wasn't like the whole mob of people had guns or anything else like that. But nevertheless, if you could imagine how was that scene in the movie The World of Worlds, when Tom Cruise and them was the only one with that van, and there was a big mob of people and everybody was trying to grab them up out the van and everything else like that. This was pretty much like that. It wasn't that many people, but it was pretty much the same scenario. And so we get into this little, again, called a golf cart type scenario. And we start taking off and we, driving down through the little wooded area and everything else like that. And we pretty much pull up to another, like we out in the woods, but then out in the woods, like the whole scenario is like kind of out in the woods. But then there was like some little trailer homes that we pulled up to and everything else like that. So we hopped out and, we start searching. I'm like, look, you go over there and you start searching, for, food and stuff like that in there. See if they got any food in there. And I'm going to go look around over here to see what we can find, So based off of that, I knew that there wasn't no food. We hadn't eaten or anything else like that. We were looking for food and everything else like that. And so, send her inside and everything looking for food. And then out of one of these buildings, it was like somewhat like a restaurant or something like that, And now inside this restaurant, there was a bunch of people. Now the people, for the most part, they was all calm, right? Now these was all Edomites too. They was all kind of calm. And but as we walked in, they was like kind of looking up as if they saw a ghost or something like that, And they was like, a little bit on, I could tell that they was on edge, a little weary about, what am I going to do to them? What are they going to have to do? Because everybody was pretty much afraid to be around everybody. All right, so let me read this again. For the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They should not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their acts shall stand in their power. Because nobody was really, at this point in time, nobody was worried about what the law says. We seen some houses. Nobody was worried about, we shouldn't be breaking and entering. All right, we wasn't in a time like that. You know what I'm saying? Nobody was in a fear of, you shouldn't be taking something up off the next person and things like this. This was all out survival mode. All right. It says a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. All right. Now, granted, I didn't know where we were at. We were in the woods and things like that. But I could tell that basically society had already collapsed. All right. It says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled and the houses shall be destroyed and men shall be afraid. And so this was the sentiment that was going on. Again, a lot of these homes had already been pre-ravished. You know what I'm saying? It was like when we rolled up on these homes, it wasn't like, we was breaking into these homes in fear of somebody still living in the house. We had already known that these houses had been long. Somebody had already been in these homes and everything else like that and ran through them. We were just trying to find any remnant of anything that we could find in these homes. You know what I'm saying? Anything that we could find, we was going to take, and but nevertheless, we wound up coming across, well, let me read the next verse. Verse 19, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy the houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of a lack of bread and for great tribulation. And again, that's what I was saying about what we went up into these houses for, looking for resources, looking for food, looking for anything. All right. And, barely finding anything. You know what I'm saying? I wound up finding like a little pocket knife or something like that. And I was like, all right, well, we're going to take this just in case we need it for whatever we need it for. You know what I'm saying? And, I don't know what else we might have found, like a little bag or something like that. But, whatever little resources we could find, we was taking them. Right. So we get to this other little building or trailer type thing that was out in the woods, and it was, like I said, it was almost like it was a restaurant, more or less to say. We go inside and there's these people that's eating, and they all sitting down and they eating like maybe breakfast or something. They eating some food, and it's like, the whole little restaurant looking thing was full of people. But again, it was out in the woods. But they was all sitting down, but they was all on edge looking up like, man, is this shit finna pop off, or what's finna happen? They was all somewhat at peace with one another, but they wasn't quite talking to one another. They was like keeping to themselves and everything else like that. And I remember seeing, like, as they were, like you at a restaurant, and you done with your food and you put it off to the side of the table for the waitress or whatever to come pick up the plate and everything. And there was like a person who was done with their food, and they had sat it to the side of the table, and it was like, just one little, they had, some pancakes, and they had cut it up a little bit, and they put it to the side. And I asked the person, I was like, yo, walking past, like, yo, hey, do you mind if I have this? And they was like, nah, just go ahead and take it. You know what I'm saying? So I picked up the plate and I handed it to the old lady I was with, you know what I'm saying? The one I was calling my mother, I handed it to her so she could eat, and, was going by and I seen somebody else's little plate, and I was like, yo, can I have the rest of that? You know what I'm saying? It was like a piece of a chicken finger, and it was just one left. So I handed that to the old lady as well too, and I was going around, and seeing these people was getting done with their food and was picking up certain things. And then I remember I had grabbed me one little piece of, I don't know what it was, maybe some bread or something like that. And I started eating it. And it was like the first time I had ate in a while. And it was like good. And like the people, they was kind of at ease that it wasn't finna be no problems, like things popping off in there and everything else like that. And I was just more happy that I was able to eat. And so, I was just, as I was walking through, doing one pass, was grabbing up whatever I could from the people that was allowing me to get whatever, like, yo, can I have this? Can I have that? I grabbed me up a little handful, grabbed me a little drink. And I wound up making it to the back end of, maybe like the kitchen, I guess it was. And it was like some glass of orange juice. I picked that up and everything else like that, and grabbed me a little handful of food and everything, and was walking out. Now, again, you know how dreams be. Sometimes things change up. So now, I'm no longer with this old lady no more. I'm actually with a fellow brother. Me and this brother was like walking around, and again, we doing the same thing. I was like, man, the first time I'm gonna grab me some food in a while and everything else like that. And so, we were grabbing food and a little bit of resources and stuff. Like I said, hey, we was only able to get from each one of those plates. Like I said, it started out with like, somebody where you would cut off a little triangle or whatever of some pancakes with a little bit of that. You know what I'm saying? One little piece of a chicken finger, the remnant of people food. All right. Enough to just, as a one little walkthrough, enough to grab a whole meal, more or less to say. All right. And a little vase of orange juice, you know what I'm saying? And that was enough, that we had, and we was going to keep moving. So we just left, and, we kept on moving down into the, our little journey in the woods or whatever. All right. Now let me go and grab this and where is it? Oh, this is Isaiah 65 and 13. It says, therefore, thus saith Yahweh, power of my servant shall eat, but you shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but you shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but you shall be ashamed. Now here, it's making a comparison between the Lord's servants and those that don't serve the Lord. Now, granted, I was in this little quote unquote restaurant type thing. All right. And it was all pretty much all Edomites, and they was all in there eating with full meals and everything else like that. Now, don't get it twisted. Even when things pop off like that, you are going to have some of them that's going to be eating and everything else like that. But what you don't take into account of is, and, in that scenario, they seem to be better off than, what I was. But you don't know how long they was going to, that could have been their whole last meal that they was going to be having. They could have walked out of there and could have got slain right then and there. And that was just it for them, because like, even with, the Lord's going to guide us through a lot of, through a lot of different things, like when they talking about these houses being spoiled and things. And man, a lot of these Edomites could be living good right now where you can barely, you live in paycheck to paycheck, and they able to stock up on food, and you ain't got no extra food or nothing like that. All right. And they may not be able to make it back to their food. And guess what? You may stumble right across their little household and live it up off of their goods for the time being. So again, you don't know how long that they was going to be living or what their end was going to be like at the end all be all. They was more worried of some shit popping off inside the damn restaurant. I was just more worried about eating. I was like, bro, I'm hungry. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't more afraid of them as they was going to do something to me, even though it was a whole great number of them. But I could tell that they was afraid, looking up like, oh shit, what's going to pop off up in this bad boy, but nevertheless, the Lord said his servants was going to eat. All right. They was going to be full. All right. So you don't know, how the Lord is going to do it for you, but just know that the Lord is going to do it for you. All right. Verse 14, behold, my servant shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart and shall howl for vexation of spirit. And so like how in the dream started out, I could tell that we was, first of all, we was trying to escape this here mob of people. All right. Me and this old lady. All right. And we was hungry, and because I remember, I was talking to the brother, how I was rejoicing at like, man, I ain't ate in a while. You know what I'm saying? I got some food and I was happy for just a little bit of food that I had, giving praise to the Most High for, hey, man, look, I got a little bit of food. I got a handful of food in my hand, you know what I'm saying? And it got me a little vase of some orange juice, and I was happy as hell, like as if I hit the lotto, because look, I was able to eat and keep it moving. I had, was turned from, man, I ain't ate in a while to like, I'm rejoicing like I hit the lottery or something like that, man. All right. So, hey, the Lord is going to provide for his servants, man. All right. As I was grabbing my little bit of crumbs off these people's table and everything else like that, I had a smile on my face, man. And again, these people look like they was worried. They don't know what the hell, if they was having their last meal or what was going on. They didn't look so happy. They wasn't sitting there, rejoicing in the scenario like, what was going on. And another thing, this is a restaurant type thing. Again, I don't believe this was no regular restaurant because it was off in the middle of the woods, for one. Two, there wasn't no real major roads to be able to get to this here spot. So this would be a bad advertisement spot for you to have a restaurant. I'm pretty sure that this was like something that, how they had these little quote unquote militias, these little Edomite communities type things. They might have had them some in the woods retreat type thing that they had for if things collapsed. You know what I'm saying? Because there were other little buildings, like little homes around. That might have just been a little dining hall where they was going to get together and everything else like that. And I just happened to come across this spot. You know what I'm saying? But, the looks in their face wasn't so happy. They wasn't so rejoicing like, oh, they having a good time. They living it up while everybody else is out there in times of trouble. They're over here eating. And granted, like I said, there was the first little mob I came across at the beginning. They was like, bro, we whatever y'all got, we need that. You know what I'm saying? They was chasing folks down. All right. This is the book of Job, chapter 5. Job 5:19, it says, he shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. All right. So, hey, it's deep. This is a common misconception of, what the church teaches that, like they say the church is going to be raptured up out of these things before these things, the tribulation comes. But, hey, check the temperature outside right now, man. We in the beginning of these things right now. So, the Lord say, hey, he will deliver thee in 6 troubles, meaning he's going to provide for us and all these things. Yea, in 7, there shall no evil touch thee. And that's when those missiles come down. That's when we're going to get that deliverance. Verse 20, it says, in famine, he shall redeem thee from death. All right. And in war, from the power of the sword, thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue. Neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. All right. And so, hey, again, in this here scenario, walking up into this here room, I was more worried about eating than a whole mob of Edomites trying to do something to me at this point in time. All right. It says, at destruction and famine, thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth. And that was, the feeling that I had as far as, as I was walking up out of the spot, you know what I'm saying? My hand full of food and everything else like that, talking to the brother like, damn, man, I ain't ate in a little minute. I got me some food. Call halal Yahweh Shah. You know what I'm saying? We were just rolling up out of there, laughing, smirking. I'm like, man, that shit was crazy. You know what I'm saying? But, just walking up out of there, like, it's funny how, you can be provided for in an unconventional way. All right, we just rolled through. It's like, almost like a drive-through pickup. You know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't know where your next meal was going to come from. You didn't know how you was going to eat, whether you was going to have to sit there and find some wildlife and kill it, skin it, and how you say, cook it over an open flame. All right, because, hey, we was out in the woods. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, come across this little thing, I'll call it a restaurant. But like I said, it could have been like some Edomites might have had some little cabins or whatever out in the woods, you know what I'm saying, for their little retreats. It might have had a dining hall or something like that where they was all in there eating, you know what I'm saying? And I happened to walk in on them, while they was eating and everything, and was able to just, peaceably, didn't have to fight nobody over no food or nothing like that, you know what I'm saying? Just pick up, certain little pieces of food that they was leaving behind, as they was about to let their plates go up. And, you know what I'm saying, after asking about 2 or 3 people for some food, people was just like, here, take this. Here, take this. Here, you can have this. Here, you can have the rest of this and everything else like that, man. All right. So as I just walked past a couple tables, was able to pick up some things and eat as I was going along, and then carry off whatever else I can carry off and just keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? I was like, hey, man, I had a hot little meal right there on the quick fly, man. I kept it moving. So, throughout all these things, just, for edification's sake, a faith booster, All right, just know that, don't look at what the external things look like, because out in that scenario, like I said, it wasn't like, I had a house to go to. I knew where I was at. I was out in the woods. I didn't know if I was going to come across any houses in the woods, any buildings in the woods, any people in the woods, or if the people that I was coming around, because, hey, there was sedition among men. All right. There was uprising and uproars amongst people, man, where the first group of people, hey, they was looking for resources. They was trying to just mob up. I don't know if they was coming after us because we had this little golf cart or what was going on. But I know that you didn't really want to be around people, man. And when I rode up into that little, we'll call it dining hall restaurant with those other people, the looks in their faces was like, again, people aren't normally supposed to be around people. They might have all known each other. You know what I'm saying? They was in there with their families and their kids and stuff like that. But like I said, I don't know if that was some like little group retreat that they all knew each other and everything. So they was cool being around each other. All right. But when an outsider came, the looks on their faces was like, oh, shit, what we finna have to do? Watch him. We don't know if it's going to get ugly up in here, But, hey, everything ended up peacefully. All right. But I just wanted to put that out there as a faith booster, especially for some of you younger brothers coming in. You may be looking at things, oh, man, if this happened, that happened, how are we going to survive? What if we out here? What if we going? Hey, the end all be all goal is what? To have faith in the Lord. All right, the Lord can provide for us in all kind of different ways, man. The Lord give us multiple examples in the scriptures, like Elisha. All right, you know what I'm saying? So, hey, there's multiple different ways of how the Lord can provide for us, man. All right, just know that, it's not going to necessarily always be the quote unquote conventional way. All right, so that what? The Lord gets the credit and the glory for all these things, because, if you were able to just, throughout all of Jacob's trouble, you know what I'm saying, just sit in the comfort of your own house, eat your own hot food, cook your own meal, go to the grocery store, buy your groceries, not have to worry about an increase of grocery price and everything. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't give the praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, man. You would just think things is all normal all the way up until, the chariots come like, well, shit, I ain't really go through no Jacob's trouble. I was working the whole time, still making money, still buying Jordans and going on vacations and things like that, going to the grocery store, buying up shit that I didn't even need. You know what I'm saying? Just splurging all the way up until the chariots came. Hey, man, you wouldn't have no need to give praise, honor, and glory to the Most High. I mean, that would be good. You know what I'm saying? But, the Lord's going to bring you through the fire, man. All right, to try your faith, man, to see if you really believe in the Lord, to see if, you know what I'm saying, when things look rough, all right, if you're going to still have that same type of faith, that level of faith in the Lord that he's going to provide for you, man. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and close out with that. Lord willing, the elect was edified with this here lesson. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakak Kodash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you. I can pushing this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Until next time, I say, stay strong. Shalom.